Hey, welcome to another video from Skinny Medic. In this video, we're going to take a look at the ETQ Tourniquet version 2. This is a new generation of the everyday tourniquet, so let's take a look at it. So I did a video on the Gen 1 a while back. This is the Gen 2. We've got some upgrades, got some differences. I'll show you that here later on in the video. But I have the original here. This is a 1-inch version, and this is an 1.5-inch version here. This is the wide edition. So let's take a look at these and see if they're the tourniquet for you. I think before we review a tourniquet, let's talk about when we should use a tourniquet. So a tourniquet is for massive bleeding in the arms and for the legs. This is blood squirting, this is blood pooling up, a large amount of blood that you cannot control with direct pressure. Grab a t-shirt, a towel, something like that, and put direct pressure over the wound. If you can't get the bleeding to stop, you can put a tourniquet on it. When we talk about where to place a tourniquet, I always talk about if you can breathe or not. If you can breathe, you're like, whew, it's pretty, it's a sunny day, it's bombing 85 degrees outside, 100% humidity. This is a great day and dude has cut his wrist off. You can put it 3 inches above the wound with no problem. And you can put it on double bone. So you can put the tourniquet here where my watch is, no big deal. Put the tourniquet on and save the guy's life. If you can't breathe, you're like, oh my God, the bullets are flying, it's raining, it's pouring rain, cars are flying by, go high and tight. There's no big deal, nothing wrong with going high and tight there. Go high and tight, pull it tight over the clothing, no big deal. Just remember, especially in the legs, the higher you go up, the large amount of muscle mass you're having to collapse to stop the bleeding. So the higher you go up on the leg, the more difficult it is going to be to control bleeding, especially on the legs because you're trying to collapse so much muscle mass. So on the arms, not a huge deal. On the legs, the closer we can get to the wound, start to collapse that muscle mass around, is a lot easier to provide bleeding control. Now, a tourniquet can be on for several hours, zero problem. So if you put direct pressure on the wound and you can't get the bleeding to stop, you put a tourniquet on it and medical professionals, EMS get there and they're like, appreciate it. They take the tourniquet off, they put a pressure bandage on it, no harm, no foul. We do it a lot in EMS. We're like, oh my gosh, there's a tourniquet. And they get there and we go to the trauma center and they take the tourniquet off and it's no big deal. They can control it with direct pressure, a pressure bandage, or hemostatic agent. So taking a look at the ETQ tourniquet here, this is the 1-inch version here. So we have Velcro that's going to secure our strap. You've got to pull this tight. We have a windlass, which you really do need a windlass to get that compression for bleeding control. We have a nice sturdy base here. We have instructions, and then we have a QR code as well. So it says pull tight here and then pull tight here. So we have several things that are just going to remind us to pull tight. Goes on, it has directions right here. It says to place high on the limb between the wound and the heart. Pull this strap as tight as possible, then fasten. Twist the bar until bleeding stops, lock it in the clip. So I put it on, I'm squirting blood. I'm gonna pull this tight. Go ahead and run this Velcro around and then turn the windlass until bleeding stops. Locks it into place. We're good. If you want to wrap it around some more, you can do that. Has a timestamp and we're nice and secure. So we'll take a little bit closer look here at the 1-inch version of the tourniquet. There again, some reminders here of how to use it. It has a timestamp, has a QR code as well that's going to give you some directions how to use it. We do have a composite windlass here that is strong. So there. Here's your clip that the windlass is going to clip into. So when you get done, it stays. It does have a little ridge there that you can see that's going to stop this from opening up. This isn't really the problem. The problem with the Velcro is this gets rubbed across carpet, things like that, and this wants to come loose. So you have to double check your tourniquet because you can have the windlass as tight as possible, but then when this comes off, then your tourniquet just comes off. So just have to watch the Velcro. Here's a comparison of Gen 1 versus Gen 2. You can see the base plate looks a little bit sturdier. They've done away with the chem light on the Gen 2. There again, I thought that was kind of gimmicky. It was an idea, but it's definitely kind of a gimmick. You don't really need it. So the windlass is a little beefier too, a little thicker. There again, it's still strong. Like I can't bend this on the Gen 1, but this looks a little beefier. They're easy to grab a hold of with your bloody hands and is strong. You can see that we're going to go through this ring right here. Shouldn't be a whole lot of pressure on this metal ring right here. but typically the pressure is going to be like in this base plate right here. The 1.5" version, there again, is going to be more in relationship to like the CAT tourniquet soft T. Those tourniquets are recommended by the TCCC committee. This one is not yet recommended, probably because there's just no data, real world data on it to make it on the recommendation list. So very similar to the CAT tourniquet soft T, SAM XT, things like that. There again, same instructions, pull it tight, turn the windlass until bleeding stops. So this is the 1.5" version here. This is going to be more likely what we're going to see with the TCCC recommended tourniquets. This is going to be an 1.5", very similar to the size of the CAT tourniquet soft T, the SAM XT, things like that. Same design, base is bigger, going to run through a ring right here with a Velcro strap. So here's a Gen 7 CAT tourniquet. Here is the version 2 of the everyday tourniquet here. So you can kind of see the size comparison here. One of the things you guys will see on the internet, Instagram, things like that, is that these tourniquets will fit into a pistol mag pouch, which it does. Like this one will fit down in there. This one, 1.5" is a little bit tighter, but because there's no buckle on the outside, it does slide in there, and the 1.5" will fit into this particular mag pouch here. This one just fits a lot easier, but these will fit into a mag pouch. For me, this is my opinion. I have zero data to back it up. Being completely transparent with you guys, I think the 1" version would be difficult, especially on someone who's got larger legs, thick muscle masses, to get the bleeding control with the 1" version. That's a lot of muscle mass to compress down with a 1" tourniquet. I think arms and legs, on me, I could do it. But someone who's bigger, I would be concerned. I do think this one though, like if I'm carrying shorts, like running shorts, things like that, or my blue jeans, or inside my laptop bag for work, this does not take up a lot of space. I think it's great there. For an everyday tourniquet, I think it's good. I think the 1.5" version, there again, is more like the CAT, more like what we see on the recommendation list for TCCC, is going to be more of a tourniquet that would be able to control that larger muscle mass and things like that. Kids always come up, the 1" version, this one would be fine. Kids typically do not need a tourniquet though. Direct pressure, a pressure bandage is typically all that kids are going to need to control major bleeding on their arms and legs. So I hope this video helps. We do stock the 1" version and the 1.5". We also have the sleeves available for them, so it kind of protects your tourniquet when you're putting it in your pocket or it's inside of your bag, things like that. It's a little protection sleeve. We carry all that at medicalgearoutfitters.com. I'll put a link down below so you can go find everything. All the shopping you do there for supplies and kits helps support the channel, helps supports us as a family. We appreciate all your support over there. Thank you guys for watching. You never know when you'll be the first responder. Remember the right gear and the right training.